Man was sick of neighbors using his pool, so he planned this unexpected revenge. Greg spent months building his dream pool. When it was finally done, he felt proud. The water sparkled. His kids were excited. It was perfect, but the peace didn't last long. By the next weekend, neighbors Greg barely knew started showing up. They brought towels, snacks, and kids. Some didn't even knock. They just walked straight into the backyard and jumped in. At first, Greg and his wife Jean tried to be polite, but it got worse. Morning to night, someone was always in their yard. The once quiet pool turned into a crowded mess. Greg felt trapped in his own home. He asked people to stop. They laughed it off. He put up a small sign. They ignored it. One neighbor even said, "You should be happy to share." That's when Greg had enough. But instead of yelling or building a fence, he came up with something different. The next day, everyone who entered the pool lived to regret it. The next morning, Greg got up early. He opened a small box he had ordered online a few days ago. Inside were tiny packets of special pool dye. It was clear in water and completely safe. But if someone swam in the pool without a special spray on their skin, the dye would turn them bright pink. Greg smiled. He poured the packets into the pool and stirred the water with the long pool net. Nothing looked different. The water was still clear and calm. Then he sat back and waited. Just like always, the neighbors showed up. They didn't ask. They didn't knock. A group of kids jumped in first, then some parents followed. At first, they laughed and played like it was any other day. Then it started. One boy screamed, "My arms are pink!" A girl looked at her hands and gasped. "What's happening?" Parents looked at their legs, arms, and faces. Bright pink patches were showing up. It looked like paint. People jumped out, yelling and running. Greg walked outside calmly. "Don't worry," he said. "It's just color. You weren't invited." Everyone stood still, wet, pink, and embarrassed. One dad tried to speak, but Greg held up his hand. "This is private property. No more pool hopping." The crowd slowly left. Some looked angry. Others looked ashamed. One mom even said sorry as she walked away. Later that evening, Greg found a note taped to his door. It was from one of the kids. It said, "I'm sorry for using your pool. I didn't know it was wrong." Next to it was a drawing of Greg smiling beside the pool. Another neighbor brought cookies and left them on the porch. There was a note. "Thanks for the wake-up call. We should have asked first." Jean came outside and hugged Greg. "That was clever," she said. Greg smiled. "No more gate crashers." From that day on, no one jumped into the pool without asking. The pool was peaceful again. Greg and his kids swam in peace. And every time Greg looked at the water, he remembered the pink dye and the lesson it left behind. Sometimes the best revenge is quiet and a little bit pink.